Science. And I had also been working at Punjabi University, Patiala, as past president of Indian Association of Teachers of Library and Information Science for 3 terms, then for Punjab Library Association also. And I had been on the standing committee member of IFLA Information Technology session, and also a standing committee member of classification and indexing. That's brief introduction. But Susmita, I think before rather than our introduction, it is necessary to introduce the speaker. I take this opportunity to introduce Barbara Lison to the webinar participants. So I am pleased to introduce her. Barbara Lison is president of International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions, and she has been serving as director public library of Bremen, Germany since 1992. She has also been on the IFLA governing board for 2 terms, that is from 2011 to 13 and 2013 to 15. She is also standing committee member of the IFLA section on metropolitan libraries. She is also member of IFLA's e-lending group. She has also served as president of BID and vice president of EBLID. I can tell you the full name of this EBLIDA. Uh, that is European Bureau. Okay, and she has been more interested in multilingualism, and she has worked for Lyon Declaration, and also she has contributed to IFLA Trend Report, and then also contributed to IFLA Code of Ethics. And she is more interested in role of libraries in the SDGs, and she believes in supporting democracy and cultural diversity. She is also advocating for freedom of access to information and freedom of expression. And she is more interested in library policy and advocacy, marketing, and governance. She also believes in collaboration and partnership. And she has massive experience in public libraries, services, and library policy. And we are expecting that she will be able to also add to our knowledge on role of libraries in providing access to information and role of library policy at national level to inform and to facilitate massive access to information at the grassroots. I am deeply grateful to the organizer of this conference, Calcutta University, and all this IATLIS for giving me an opportunity to introduce the Honorable Keynote Speaker, Barbara Leon, Honorable President of International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Jagtar Singh ji. And now I will say a few words to give a context to the presentation that Barbara will be presenting in this keynote address. Her title is Librarian, a Profession with Many Challenges, IFLA and the LIS Community. As we all know, IFLA is an independent, international, non-governmental, non-for-profit organization acting as the global voice of libraries. IFLA puts libraries on the global stage and supports their work by promoting high standards of provision and delivery of library and information services, and by representing the interests of IFLA's members throughout the world. Therefore, IFLA is a reference point across libraries' activities, providing a forum for discussion and learning as well as direction and inspiration for all librarians. With its members and active network of around 1200, that is 1200 volunteers Working in its professional units, IFLA represents the brightest minds of the librarian information profession. Together with all active colleagues, IFLA works to set the professional agenda and develop standards for library services to improve access to information and cultural heritage resources, and to advocate for the place of libraries at the heart of local and global policies. Based on well established relations with the United Nations and other international organizations and bodies, IFLA also works as the central reference and between the global library field and supranational leaders and decision makers. By advocating the libraries, IFLA encourages widespread understanding of the value of good library and information services. In her talk, Barbara Lizzo will talk about IFLA's activities to support the global library field and especially the LIS community. She will focus on the results of the Global Vision Report. I am glad to say that I was a part of that, and the IFLA Strategy 2021 and 2024 in their relevance for the LIS community. Over to you, Barbara.
Thank you very much, Susmita. I'm happy to be with you, and thank you very much for the invitation to talk to you today. Of course, this is a great event for you for this conference to have 150 years, more than 150 years of Calcutta University, and also 75 years of the LIS department of that university. I really congratulate you for this time and for the work you have been done. And of course, I'm very happy that I can talk to you in India, mostly the land of Ranganathan, where we are all taking inspiration from still, even years and decades ago. So my talk will concentrate on librarians and librarians as as men, as persons, as a human resource for the libraries. So that is why I talked, the title is Librarian, a Profession with Many Challenges. And I'm thinking, you know, all these challenges all together, but IFLA will help you to meet these challenges. So let's start. Well, look, this is a book title. You Don't Look Like a Librarian. Shattering stereotypes and creating positive new images in the internet age. So do you think that's a nice book title? You don't look like a librarian. Is this a compliment to a librarian, or what do you think about it? Let's talk about this. I think that librarians are more like a multifaceted Swiss penknife. They have so many functions and they serve for so many issues. And I would like to present you some scenarios. Scenario 1, the librarian as information provider. What is the environment of this? Of course, now, for some time already, information is called the oil of the 21st century, which is very important, of course. But still, you have to pay for the oil. When you go to the gas station or when you have your heating, then, of course, you have to pay. But information shall stay accessible for everyone. That is our environment too. And of course, as we all know, information is the basic for a democratic society. What is the role of the librarian in this context? So the librarian should be an an explorer for up-to-date information, for good information, like an agent for access for information. And the librarian shall be a facilitator for unbiased and secured, not fake information. This is scenario 1. Scenario 2, the librarian as fact-finder. The environment is that social media increasingly influence public opinion. This is everywhere in the world, influenced by social media. That can lead to misinformation, and misinformation is hard to track and prove, as we all know. And because of that, in many countries, in my country as well, in Germany, the trust in governance and public institutions is going down. What could a librarian do in these circumstances? Of course, a librarian is an agent for fact-finding, and he should reveal misinformation and the strategies behind misinformation. He should enhance critical thinking with regard to information, not only with regard to information, but exclusively for this, or very much for this. And he should be, or she should be, a trusted trust builder. So trust is a very important word when it comes to our profession. Scenario 3, the librarian as society agent. The environment is that there is a huge need for innovation on all levels, everywhere. And of course, we see that the wealth in the world is unequally distributed. And with wealth, you can buy information. Consequences of climate change are attacking our countries everywhere, in many parts of the world. And in many parts of the world, labor conditions are precarious. What could a librarian do in these circumstances or against these circumstances? So the librarian should be an adapter and promoter of useful technology. We adapt them and promote them to our customers, to our clients. The librarian should also be a supporter of the game changing of what is in our society, the developments in our society, which should be changed in some regard, and the librarian should support this as well. And of course, the librarian should be an agent for collaboration, because standalone solutions are not really helpful. Cooperation is key to success. And also key for success is participation. So the librarian should become an agent for participation, for including people, for including every layers of society into their work. That is a big challenge. So I think we should generate a paradigm shift for libraries. We should come from an informing profession an involving profession. Instead of giving access to information, we should facilitate exchange and sharing of information. We should not say politics is not for us. We should engage in civic development and in civic critical questions. And we should not see our customers as consumers of democracy, but as active participants, and the librarians as well should become active participants of democracy. You know, the eroding social capital, which is seen everywhere in the world, should stop, and we should try to build a new social coherence also with the help of our libraries. We should not say, well, it's their problem. We should say, it's our problem. And from being only experts, we should become public experts. We should involve the citizens in our knowledge and share our knowledge with them so they can also share their knowledge with us. So, and we should not only look at concerns, but we should try to find opportunities. What should a librarian have? Which skills should a 21st century librarian have? Of course, there are different kinds of skills: learning skills, literacy skills, personal skills. The learning skills, of course, what you can learn is critical thinking. You can learn creativity in a way. You can learn how to collaborate and to communicate properly. And you can also learn, of course, in the LIS schools as well, and especially literacy skills like information, media literacy, also technology skills. But you cannot learn so easily our personal skills. You have to develop them in quite a long way. So this is flexibility, leadership, initiatives, productivity, and all the social skills which we know already. But with the corona pandemic, of course, this becomes more complicated. And we always have to regard to these skills and try to bring our skills also into the public and also in our labor conditions, even in the corona pandemic when we sit at home and having only the screen to communicate and not communicate with each other in person. I think it is important that we librarians think about our personality when it comes to personal skills. So you see, there are so different kinds of librarians. And this is a picture, or there are pictures of librarians mostly, of modern librarians. And there is one lady, you see the shushing lady, and she is just an ironic symbol of our new personalities, which we need in the libraries. And our personalities influence the image of the libraries, and therefore I always say the library is you. You determine the way the library is looked at. You determine the image of the libraries. The communication psychology says that the first impression of a person is always decisive. So in the first seconds, you are already judged by the people you meet. This is called the 93% rule because you see, 55% of your being in a public space is how you appear, how is your body language, how you look like. 38% is what is the sound of your voice, the volume and the pitch of your speech. And look, only 7% relate to the content of speech. That is the 93% rule. And I think it's important to have that in mind, that mostly it does not count what you say, but how you are saying it and how you are appearing on the, let us say, stage. So in the first 3 seconds of a meeting a person for the first time, we have already formed our firm sensation about the person's social status, attitude and opinion, educational status, the beliefs of that person, the gender, and the friendliness and approachability. Imagine in the first 3 seconds, and this is a very firm influence, and it is hard to change that. If you have a person in mind you met for the first time, how often have you changed your opinion about that person? I think that doesn't happen very often. So the important factors is that you should use your positive personality to influence others. So try to be positive, to have a positive radiation of your personality by positive thinking and positive mindset, by showing empathy, by being socially intelligent, and show social competences, and show your self-confidence. Believe in yourself, that's important, and also show your readiness for attitude change. Understanding means it's not about me, it's about the others. So this was my thoughts for thinking about our profession and how our personality is related to the success of our profession. Now let's have a look at IFLA. How does IFLA support the library profession to meet these challenges about which we have talked? And I want to refer to the IFLA Global Vision Report. Susmita just said that she was a partner in this Global Vision process, and no, she knows it very well, of course. So there were about 30,000 people from all over the world involved about the questions: what are the challenges of our profession, and what are the core parts of our profession, the core values of our profession. And I would like to present you 10 highlights and also 10 opportunities. So the first thing is that this process brought out that the challenges which the library field faces from ever increasing globalization can only be met and overcome by an inclusive and global response from a united library field, cooperation, acting unitedly. That is important. And the two key findings are we are united. So the self-understanding is we are united globally in our goals and values. But we have to show this being united. We must therefore connect global and local actions very effectively. So let's have a look at these 10 highlights. The first highlight is, you see, 30,000 people brought their ideas about our profession together, and this is the extract of this. We are dedicated to equal and free access to information and knowledge. Of course we are. But we also have to be champions of intellectual freedom. And this is not only an opportunity. In my vision, this is also a challenge. Next one. We remain deeply committed to supporting literacy, learning, and reading. But what do we have to do? We must update our traditional roles in the digital age. We have the same goal, but we must update the way we fulfill this goal. Third highlight, we are focused on serving our communities. Of course we are, but we need to understand our community needs better. We look at the communities and try to understand them better, and then based on this, design services for impact to the community. The fourth highlight is we embrace digital innovation. Yes, but we have to look into the future. We must keep up with the ongoing technological changes and developments. Number 5, we have leaders who see the need for strong advocacy. And I look at you, the leaders who are there, I'm sure you see the need. But not only see the need, but we also have to act. We need more and better advocates at all levels, so everywhere a librarian is an advocate or shall be an advocate for libraries. The sixth highlight is we see funding as one of our biggest challenges. Well, this is something which we know for decades already. But how can we get better funding? The challenge is that we should ensure that the stakeholders understand our value and impact. Promotion of our successes, promotion of our work, that is important. The seventh highlight, we see the need to build collaboration and partnerships. Of course, but we also need to develop a better spirit of collaboration. So collaboration is key, but we have to develop it. Number 8, we want to be less bureaucratic and flexible and resistant to change. Obviously, there is an understanding that some of our colleagues in the world think, maybe I'm too bureaucratic and flexible and I'm too resistant to change, and I want to change this. So that means we need to challenge our current structures and behaviors and approaches. Number 9, we are the guardians of the memory of the world. Yes, we are. But we should not only guard it, we should also make it publicly accessible. We need to maximize access to the world's documentary heritage. Access and not only safeguarding. And the 10th highlight is our young professionals are deeply committed and eager to lead. And I think at the university and your LIS department, you will see that. And the people who have passed this department, the young professionals, are deeply committed and eager to lead. But that means us, we, the people who are already leading, must give the young professionals effective opportunities to learn, to develop, and to lead. That's the future generation, the future leadership generation. So these were the Global Vision highlights, and they are the basis for the IFLA strategy 2019-2024. And this IFLA strategy has 4 strategic directions. Number 1 is strengthen the global voice of libraries. Number 2 is inspire and enhance professional practice. Number 3, connect and empower the field. And number 4, optimize our organization, optimize IFLA. Now I want to show you some of these strategic directions. Let's have a look at strategic direction number 2. Inspire and enhance professional practice. And this is very much connected, of course, to the LIS education. IFLA wants to inspire the profession through future thinking and by encouraging new and promising approaches. You see the relation with the global vision? We drive the development of libraries through standards, guidelines, and best practices. What does that mean? We produce and communicate and distribute key resources and materials that should inspire the profession. IFLA tries to deliver high-quality campaigns, information, and other communication products on a regular basis to engage and energize libraries. IFLA wants to develop standards, guidelines, and other materials that foster best professional practice and provide tools and infrastructure that support the work of the libraries. These are the key initiatives, the goals for 2021-2024. You see, and with the pandemic, of course, this is very closely. Webinars are now very modern. They are very accessible at that time of pandemic. And you see, there is timely, sustainable, and more necessary than ever a webinar on libraries, open access, and infodemics. So this is one of thousands of examples which I can show you. With regard to the key strategic direction 2, deliver high-quality campaigns, information, and other communication products. And the next one is the IFLA Public Library Manifesto for today. Guidelines, other materials, and standards we want to develop. And the public library section of IFLA, that's the group of librarians who are more interested in the work of public libraries. They are publishing, let's put it like that, they are publishing the Public Library Manifesto for today. The old Public Library Manifesto is from 1994, and I think this is too old. Times have changed so quickly, are changing so quickly, that we cannot stand with this 1994 Public Library Manifesto. Now, the Public Library section has drafted the Public Library Manifesto for today, and it is now at UNESCO to be endorsed by UNESCO so that it can become again an IFLA UNESCO Public Library Manifesto. And I'm very proud that we are doing this. And the process, of course, at UNESCO is a longer process, but I'm still hoping that we can publish our manifesto as soon as possible. Now let's have a look at the supporting IFLA of the libraries in the pandemic. Well, of course, we have to look at this. Look, already in October 2020, or even before that, IFLA invented a list of key resources for libraries in responding to the coronavirus pandemic. On the left-hand side, the red lines you see, this is all links where libraries who are interested in special questions, in special issues related to the pandemic, can find these links and find in these links helpful information and support. And this list is updated, of course, all the time. And of course, the frequently asked questions for the pandemic are also on the website. And already in August 2020, IFLA published one of the journals, of IFLA journals, a special issue on libraries and COVID-19. And I like the title, it is Opportunities for Innovation. So we are not looking into the COVID issue and saying, oh, this is all horrible, but we try to find opportunities for information in this bad situation. And very practical, IFLA is also giving posters. You can download these posters, how to spot fake news, especially with regard to the pandemic. There are so many fake news now in the world, and you can have the information how to spot fake news, to bring that into the libraries, to have also that on the walls of the libraries. And of course, webinars. Already in December 2020, IFLA had a webinar building the evidence base for reopening archives, libraries, and museums, reopening. And of course, blogs. The library policy and advocacy blog you find on the IFLA website is always in many parts related to the pandemic. And also the LIS education people are involved in this. You see, there was a webinar, LIS education and practice during COVID-19 pandemic in developing countries. So this is very up to date. It's September 2021. And you can also see that the new professional interest groups, that's the people you are educating, and then they go to the library market, together with the American Library Association, had a webinar, Open Access and Libraries, Lessons from COVID-19 and Our Path Towards the Future. And you can find all these webinars still on the IFLA website when you go to the IFLA repository. So I think this is enough to be inspired, to be engaged, enabled, and connected with each other, and that we should do this. We should work together. We should be a united library field. Thank you very much for your attention. I want to say we are IFLA. We all are IFLA, and IFLA is as good as we are good working and well working for IFLA. Thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you a good conference. Thank you.
Susmita, please unmute yourself. Unmute.
Barbara, thank you. This is the keynote speech just delivered by the president of IFLA, Barbara Lison, in the conference IATLIS EU 2021, which has been jointly organized by the Department of Library and Information Science, University of Calcutta, to celebrate its Platinum Jubilee in collaboration with Indian Association of Library and Information Science Teachers Association. So now I will request the president of IATLIS to offer the formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Chakraborty, for inviting me to propose a vote of thanks. This session, keynote session, has been a very enlightening one, with Barbara Lyon first giving the challenges and opportunities that librarians face today, and then telling us through the IFLA strategy as well as the IFLA Global Vision Report, the highlights of the IFLA Global Vision Report. This has truly been an enriching experience where Barbarian has, in fact, told us through the initiatives taken by IFLA during the pandemic times and the leading role it has played in connecting the library world throughout the globe. I thank you very much on behalf of IATLIS as well as on behalf of the Department of Library and Information Science, Kolkata University, for being with us in spite of your busy schedule and busy travel schedule before and after the conference. Thank you very much once again for being part of this our conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I was very delighted to be with you. Thank you very much. And Susmita, all the best. Thank you and have a good conference.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay.